All right, let's dive in. We're going to go on a little journey today, moving beyond the kind of AI we just boss around with prompts. We are heading straight into a future where AI gets a to-do list and then just reports back when it's all done. This is the real story here, the evolution of AI from a simple tool to a genuine digital teammate.
And this whole shift, it is happening way faster than you might think. Just look at New Zealand, for example. A staggering 82% of small and medium businesses are already using AI. That number is outpacing both the global and the Asia-Pacific averages. So this isn't some pie-in-the-sky futuristic trend. It's happening right now.
But the big question is, does it actually work? Is it making a difference? Well, of all those businesses that are putting AI to the test, an absolutely incredible 95% say that it's increasing their earnings. So yeah, the return on investment, it is very, very real. And look, this isn't just about the bottom line. As Adrian Tauzi from Salesforce points out here, business leaders are seeing real, tangible results. They're fine-tuning their marketing, they're personalizing customer service, they're basically scaling their businesses in ways that, honestly, were pretty unimaginable just a few years ago.
It kind of feels like a gold rush, doesn't it? Everybody is scrambling to stake their claim in this new AI territory. But with any gold rush, you've always got to ask, are we building a stable, lasting town, or are we just throwing up a temporary camp? Because this rapid adoption of AI, it comes with some serious challenges that we just can't afford to ignore.
And what's wild is that these fears are super consistent across the board. The top 3 concerns are practically in a dead heat. As you can see right here, 87% of businesses are worried about reliability and errors, the infamous AI hallucinations. And right on its heels, at 85% each, are major fears about security and privacy. Trust is the absolute bedrock of this new digital world, and right now, that foundation is feeling a little shaky.
So how do we fix that, right? How do we build that solid foundation of trust? Well, the first and maybe the most crucial step is a technology called RAG, and it is all about grounding our AI in cold, hard, verifiable facts. RAG, it stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. But let's put that in simple terms. It basically stops a language model from just making things up. It forces the AI to base its answers on specific, pre-approved information that it has to retrieve before it ever starts generating a response.
Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it. Instead of one AI trying to be both an encyclopedia and a poet at the same time, RAG creates a 2-part system. First, you've got the careful librarian, that's the retrieval part, who goes and finds the correct factual documents. Then you have a skilled storyteller, the generation part, who takes only those documents to craft a helpful, human-sounding answer. So what does this look like in practice? Well, when you ask a question, the system doesn't just guess. First, it searches a specific knowledge base, like your company's internal documents. Then, it hands that relevant data and your original question to the language model, and essentially says, hey, answer this, but you can only use these facts. And the result? An answer you can actually trust.
Okay, so RAG pretty much solves the trust problem. It makes AI a reliable source of information. But what if we could give AI not just facts, but a purpose, a goal? This is where we take the big leap from a trustworthy tool into the really exciting world of agentic AI.
The AI that most of us are using today, like ChatGPT, is reactive. It's an amazing conversationalist, don't get me wrong, but it waits for your prompt and then it responds. Agentic AI is totally different. It is proactive. You don't just give it a prompt, you give it a goal, and it works on its own to figure out how to achieve it. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about this technology. We're moving away from AI as a passive tool that we have to operate, and toward AI as an active participant that collaborates with us. It's no longer just an assistant, it's on its way to becoming an autonomous partner.
So what exactly gives an AI these new superpowers? Well, first, it has memory, so it remembers your past conversations and what you're working on. Second, it can define and chase after goals over long periods. Third, and this one is a total game changer, it can use tools like APIs to connect to other software and take real actions in the world. And finally, it can reason, it can plan its next steps, and it can adapt if its first plan doesn't work out.
So, now that we have these capable, goal-oriented agents, what's the next logical step? Well, you get them to work together, of course. How do you assemble a whole team of AI agents to tackle really complex workflows? That's where something called orchestration comes in.
Because the real magic, the true promise of this AI gold rush happens when you move beyond just a single agent.
A coordinated team of specialized agents, each with its own skill, can automate an entire end-to-end business process. We're talking about things like closing the books for the quarter or launching a brand new product.
One of the most common ways to organize them is what's called the supervisor model. It's pretty simple. You have one central manager agent that breaks down a huge goal into smaller tasks. It then assigns those tasks to specialized agents, like a data analyst agent or a writing agent, and it coordinates all their work just like a human project manager would.
Another really powerful pattern is a sequential pipeline. This is perfect for processes that happen in a straight line. Think of it like a digital assembly line. The first agent does its job, say writing a market analysis. It then passes its work to a second agent, who creates a marketing brief, who then passes it to a third agent to draft ad copy. Each one does its part and hands it off to the next in line.
And of course, it gets way more sophisticated than that. You have peer-to-peer models where agents can actually negotiate tasks among themselves without a central boss, and even hybrid models that mix and match all these different patterns to handle the most complex jobs you can throw at them.
All of this brings us to what is probably the most important question of all. What does this mean for us, for people? How are we going to work alongside these new digital coworkers? The thing is, it's not an on or off switch. It's really a spectrum of autonomy. We're probably going to move through a few distinct stages here. We'll start in co-pilot mode, where the human is clearly in the driver's seat and the AI is just assisting. Then we'll shift into collaboration, where control is more shared and the AI handles routine stuff. From there, we'll move to supervision, where the agent actually leads the process and we just oversee its work. And finally, for some tasks, we'll get to full autonomy, where the agent is pretty much in charge.
And let's be absolutely crystal clear on this point. The goal here is not replacement. It is about augmentation. It's about strategically finding that perfect balance of human oversight and AI execution for every single task, which should free us up to focus on the things that truly need our uniquely human skills.
Which, of course, leaves us with this one final, crucial question to think about. When our new AI teammates can execute an entire complex process all on their own, from the initial strategy all the way to the final report, what becomes our uniquely human contribution? What's the work that only we can do? That's the conversation we all really need to start having right now.